Okay, so back for part 2 of Attack on Titan season 1. So comments have informed me that I definitely have not seen season 2. I don't know what happened. I have a couple little memories of what I thought would be in season 2. Part of it being related to the wall and the Titans, and they're like, that was the end credit scene of season 1. I'm like, no, I know, I remember them being in the wall and the cocoon stuff around them, that hard stuff, and they're just in the wall fortified again. People went in the wall. And I'm like, you know what? It could have been a drawing that I seen online. It could have been a fan-made video. It could have been a trailer for a different season. Yeah, I definitely have not seen season 2. So I'm going to go into season 2 completely blind. So let's talk about the last part of season 1. I liked it a lot more than part 1. Again, Eren was really bugging me the majority of his part up till he got eaten. And then I'm like, oh, okay, he's gone. Oh, he's back. Oh, he's not as annoying this time. But I do feel like Eren's eventually going to grow on me, I guess. But I like the part 2 a lot better. So we start with Eren waking up. He's in jail. And Levi and the blonde one, no, not Eren. Edwin. Don't know. Someone. Levi's friend is there with him, and they're interrogating Eren, asking him questions. What do you want? And of course, Eren wants to kill all the Titans. So Levi agrees to take responsibility for him. But first, they have to go to court because the military police want to execute him. And the judge is rating over. You have the cult people who worship the wall like a god. I think it's from the gods, and I love their inclusion, just having this crazy cult element. Fantastic. We have Eren eventually throwing a fit because they're dragging Mikasa into this, and he's saying he wants to kill all the Titans and he'll do it, and they're all cowards. So, which Levi responds to by kicking him in the face. And it's beautiful because it's showing that Levi is not scared of Titan Eren. They're all worried he's going to transform into a Titan, kill everybody, but Eren stays in control. Levi continues to knock a tooth out of him and is like, if it comes down to it, I'll just kill him. It's fine. Release him to my custody. So the Scout Regiment ends up getting Eren, and they go on a mission outside the wall. The goal being to get to that cellar. Needs to happen. But first, we're at this castle area. We're introduced to Levi's team, and I really, really, really like them. And they have this fun dynamic. I'm not a big fan of the guy who keeps biting his tongue, but I'm liking these characters. Oh, how I was... I'm just going to jump right to that, because everyone knows what happens. They end up getting wiped out by the female Titan. Decimated. And it's brutal, and I did not see it coming the first time I watched it for an instant. And this is what I want. I want you to make me care about these characters. Make me care about the relationship and dynamic they have with each other, and then brutally dead. That is how you traumatize me with a character death. You don't just introduce a character and kill them. You gotta make me care about either them or the people that care about them before killing them off. So, after their deaths, Levi taking the patch from Petra, whatever her name is, and keeping that as a memento for himself, only to have to give it up. Not have to, but he's a very stoic person, and you think he doesn't care about anything but his mission and his orders, but no, he genuinely probably cares too much, because when this duo risked everything to retrieve the body of their friend and they lose it, he instead gives them Petra's thing saying it was their friends. Here's a memento for them. And so he gave up something he wanted for comfort to them. And I love it. It is so good. We'll get to that whole scene at the end. So they're in the castle, and Levi's just a clean freak, and he's cleaned everything up. I am not a clean freak. I cannot relate at all. But I love that element for his character. Eren is talking to the mad scientist woman, Henge? I'm going with Henge? Don't know. So I really like her. She's just so obsessive with the Titan. She's bordering on annoying. It can really go either way with me. I can either really like her character, or she can really frustrate me. So she's experimenting on these two Titans. She's named them. She's seeing how the sun versus night affects them, seeing how they respond to pain. They obviously don't digest anything, so she's trying to understand them. And then I talked about in part 1 how she talked about the density of the Titans, and I really want them to go more into that, because again, this mass that makes the Titan is supposedly coming out of nowhere. But then they're talking about the density. They're lighter than they expect. Armin had mentioned these flowers appearing when Eren appeared in Titan form. Something is going on. Is something teleporting? I don't know, but I want to know. So Eren stays up all night talking to her, but he doesn't have to be locked in the cell given that time, so they're really not nice to him. Starting off, they don't trust him, and we go through the experiment. So he was supposed to transform in this well, but he's unable to transform. It's not just biting his hand. Then we learn that it's a technique needed for, like, you bite or injure yourself, but with a mission goal in mind, so he transformed when he reached for a spoon. And everyone is completely freaked out. They're yelling at him. They're ready to kill him because he transformed without permission. And Levi ends up getting in the way to protect Eren from his own comrades who are willing to take him out because they're just in that much fear. And Eren doesn't understand in that moment what's happening. But Levi's keeping that cool head. And I love Levi so very much. Definitely one of my favorite characters. And when they realize what's happening, they give that apology where they bite their own hand saying, God, that hurts. How are you doing this all the time? And I adore that moment. It's bonding them together. They're trusting each other. And then later on, when they're running through the forest, they're like, put your faith in us. We are the best. We put our faith in Levi. We're putting our faith in this plan. And we just need you to trust us because we need to protect you. You do not transform and fight because people behind them are getting slaughtered and they could turn around to help. But like to save the world, they have to sacrifice some. And Eren decides to put his faith in that team only for that faith. And even Levi's just like, make a choice with no regrets. And yes, I am aware a little bit of Levi's backstory. It kind of came to me when we went to when they said underground, like, oh, I did know about an underground place that he came from and he made choices that he regrets now. I know something about that. I don't know details, but I have that vibe. So Levi's like, make a choice, stick to it, don't regret your choices, live with whatever you got to do. And Eren chooses to side with them. And it was a mistake because he could have fought the female Titan earlier. And it ends up with his entire crew getting decimated. It was devastating. And it showed, like, I put my trust in the wrong place. I should have trusted myself. I should have fought. And oh my God, I love that moment. I am jumping all over the place in terms of narrative plot line here. Allergies are not being nice to me. I'm surprised I can even talk. All right, so what I also really like is the use of the flares for Edwin, don't like his name, blonde guy's formation. So Eren is with Levi and his group as in the center, but no one knows where Eren is. And they're all going out and they're putting the flares up as needed. Why I like this, they put so much focus in how this is meant to keep them away from like the normal Titans and the abnormals might get in. But later, when the female Titan happens and they're disguised as the scout again, they send a flare up, tricking them into thinking it's Levi. So they're using their own flare system against them, and I really like that. So they're going through the open field. They got nothing. They can't use their equipment to evade anything. There's little towns that they go in, and sometimes that helps them maneuver around and stop the Titans. But really, they're sitting ducks, so they have to avoid the Titans the best they can. And Armin and, who was it, was Jean and their boss ends up getting attacked by one of the abnormals, and their boss guy is able to take him out. And at one minute we think he's dead, but he survives, and it's all great, it's wonderful. But the female Titan shows up, and it's, she could have killed Armin, but instead lifted his hood to look at him, chose to let him live, and then go off. And she's bringing more Titans with her. And Armin rightfully predicts that she must have some kind of intelligence as a human who transformed into a Titan. And she must be after Eren for some reason. They end up losing their horse at one point in time, and the blonde girl, she ends up, they describe her as an angel, coming to rescue them with horses, and it's a delight. But previously they were talking about who was going to be left behind. And Armin's just saying, we just need to get a message to Eren. That's the most important point. But again, they're fine. They have their horses. They're going off. Lots of people are dying. I don't know most of their names. The plain area, while interesting and a good change of scenery, and I like this environment that they're in because they're kind of helpless, it was a little bit meh with, but once they got into the trees, and it's very clear that the other people do not know the purpose of this mission. They're trying to like draw out the female Titan, and they know there's a spy because the previous 2 Titans that they have been experimenting on have been killed, and they don't know who did it. And it had to be someone with inside information. So they're being very secretive because they don't want the information to get to everybody else. So now they're in the forest, they can maneuver as they need to, and Levi's telling them on the horses, just keep running, and he's listening to everyone die, and that's when Eren has his crisis of, do I turn and fight, or do I listen to them, and he puts his faith in them and continues on with the mission. And it ends up being a trap for the female Titan. Editing Jessica, cutting in. How did they set a trap for the female Titan before they knew the female Titan existed? Like, this was mostly, everything was kept hush-hush because they knew someone was leaking information, someone was plotting against them, spy, something, when the 2 Titans that they were experimenting on were killed. And Armin knew it was Annie based on the gear that she turned in. But he kept quiet on everything. But they were keeping everything hush-hush because they didn't know who to trust. And there's an enemy among them. How the hell did they know said enemy person working against them could shift into a Titan? Because the female Titan didn't show up till this exposition. And then they had the weapons already in the trees to snare them. They were clearly hunting a Titan with this trap. But do they know that there are other shifter Titans besides Eren at this point? Did they know that's who would come after them? I'm missing something. I'm going to assume that they must know that the Colossal Titan and the Armored Titan have to be shifters as well, and maybe they thought one of them would come after them, but end up being another one? Maybe? Who comes through, and they end up binding her all over, but she hardens her hands to protect the nape of her neck, and eventually calls for more Titans to come in and just eat and consume her. There's such a focus on cannibalism here, between Titans eating other Titans, Titans eating humans, not digesting them, the female Titan eating Eren, and Eren talking about how he wants to eat the female Titan. There's so much with cannibalism, I feel like there's gotta be more to it, some kind of symbolism that I'll figure out along the way. So then it's revealed that she had been used the cannibalism of it to a distraction, so she had her gear that she could get out eventually, and then uses the flare to trick Levi's team into thinking that's him, and they give away their location with their own flare. Goes, targets them, transforms into female Titan, and wipes them all out. And she shows her intelligence, because at first, they're doing very well. They trust each other. They know how to fight. They know how to work together. They blind her, and they know how much time it takes for the regeneration process. So they think they have time to act, only to realize she put all the regeneration properties into one eye so she could see and fight and take them all out. And Eren, devastated, transforms and chooses to fight back, and he is completely outmatched. The upper levels of the Scout Regiment realize they should not have been using Eren as a baseline of what these humanoid Titans can do, because he's so new at it, no experience, no training. Well, they obviously know how to use their techniques and abilities better, and don't rely on what the limitations they thought Eren had. And Eren, he gets his arms broken because he's terrible at fighting her. He gets his head chopped in half. She takes a few punches, and her technique is very standard. We know this is Annie, but Eren does not. Eventually, she takes him out and eats him, to which Mikasa sees, and she freaks out, starts going after the female Titan, has to be stopped by Levi, because he's like, you're acting reckless. We need to think this through. And there might be some hope that Eren's still alive, so we have to get him back. Mikasa convinces him. Levi does a spinny thing, and it's wonderful. I've seen gifs of that. Love it. Mikasa uses her frustration, anger, and emotions, and she ends up nearly getting killed, which Levi has to save her. He injures his leg because of that. I'm upset with that. I barely like Mikasa, so for her to get Levi injured frustrated me, but good character moment on both ends. They end up getting Eren out of her mouth, and he is alive, and they get away. Thank God. But the mission, so many people died. It's bad publicity. They're like, all right, Eren's going back to the military police. He'll be executed. That's all there is to it. Obviously, just before that, I want to talk about, again, those 2 guys who wanted to save their friend, or retrieve their friend's body and bring it back while they're dealing with the dead, whoever is left. I already said, Levi ends up giving them their patches, but more than that, he, sacrifices all the bodies of who they did recover just to save those who are alive. Like, Armin realizes what they have to do because the carts are being slowed down by the extra weight of the bodies that they recovered. And Levi gives the orders to drop all of them, and he watches, like, Petra and all his comrades, the people that he had the most loyalty, relationship, friendship, time connections with. He lets them go to save everybody else. It's a hard decision, but it's the only one that can be made, and he makes it so what feels like easily, but there's such weight to that decision. Oh my god, I cannot put into words how much I love that entire scene with the Titans chasing them and just dropping the bodies. And it's devastating. Every hit, it's absolutely devastating, and I loved it. Yeah, so they get back to the wall. Eren's taken into custody. However, Eren does not end up going in that carriage to go into custody. It's Jean, I believe it is in his place, like a bad wig, and it's wonderful. But it really shows that, like, no one in the military is trusting each other with everyone's plans, because Erwin, don't like his name, Levi's friend, has this whole plan to drive out the female Titan. So we get Annie in the ones with the unicorns. Military police, inside the wall. And she's just going about her regular day. We get a side where one of her comrades is like a do-gooder, wants to outroot corruption, and he's trying to tell these two people you can't be selling off military weapons. We're here to do good, and corruption is bad. He gets beaten to a pulp, and she has to step in for him. And I'm so interested in Annie's character, and we're clearly not getting much for her anytime soon with how her ending goes. But, like, between her father, how she got the power to transform in Titan, how she feels about corruption and this world. Does it feel like this is just the place, this is how it is, why bother fight against it? Or is she working to some other goal? What is the goal of the people who transform into Titans? Because they're tearing down the walls. The only thing I can think of is, like, there's an outside community that needs resources, but why would you destroy the resources that these people have? I don't know. Don't tell me. But, like, is there another community somewhere? Because we're left to believe that these are the last remnants of humanity. And part of why I probably thought there was someone else, because I thought in my head that the goal was to get to, like, a cellar in a different faraway location. But no, the cellar's just at their family home, as far as I know, in the outer wall. So I'm like, I don't know. And I want to understand what the people who transform into Titans, that isn't Eren, what their goal is, how his father was involved. I just don't understand it. And her relationship with her father. Anywho, so Annie is going about her day when Armin comes up and is just like, hey, we have a plan to save Eren. We need your help for this. And they're planning to escape. And he leads her to this, like, tunnel underground, abandoned city. But she realizes that it's a trap for her. So she's about to transform into the female Titan. She knows her cover's been blown. They use a noise signal to signal other people to come grab her, and they stop her from biting and transforming, but she has a ring that she uses to cut herself and transform. Those guys all presumably dead in the explosion. Eren is there as well, and they're trapped in the tunnels, and he's unable to transform. Mikasa says it's because you have feelings for Annie, you can't accept her as a villain, and you don't want to fight her. He denies this, and she puts him in a bad position. It's like, okay, she's going to end up crushing this tunnel. We don't know which exit she's going to go through. So Armin and I are going to run in opposite directions. You go in whatever one doesn't get crushed. Like, are you crazy? One of you will die. Yeah, but you got to live. So go. And they run. And eventually Tunnel comes in, but it's over Eren. It's fine, because eventually he's able to transform and fight female Titan. I don't overly care too much for this fight. There's a lot of destruction. A lot of people die. It's somewhat entertaining, but it is just a really good battle scene, and it felt like it went on a little bit too long, in my opinion, but not really the biggest deal in the world. Is this the scene? I think somewhere in here you had the religious cult people praying, and it's like, the wall will protect us, God will provide, let us pray, and then Titan comes in and smashes everybody, and the priest guy in charge is just like, hey, so that was a good moment. Military police are useless. The scout regiment's taking commands. They set up a bunch of traps to take down the female Titan. It's not enough, and eventually Eren is able to defeat her as she's making a run for it, but he's unable to finish her off, and Annie gets coated in that crystallized thing. She can't be interrogated. And the military police are very upset that the scout regiments had done this without their okay. It's like, hey, one of yours was the Titan. It's not our fault we couldn't trust you. We didn't know who she had working with her, but this is actually a good thing. We've learned a lot about the Titans, and we'll make progress from here. This is a victory for humanity. Glad's Blondie is able to spin it in a way that got them off the hook. But again, I really like the conflict between the different groups as none of them trust each other. The end scene is like the wall Cena is like crumbling away, and you see the face of a Titan in the wall, leaving mystery of what's going to happen going forward. So overall, really enjoyed part 2. Season 1 overall could be better, could be worse. I binged the majority of it, so once I started, I couldn't stop. But I feel like I want more. It got me wanting more. So I'm excited to continue on with season 2. My cousin just moved in not far away from me. She went from 2 hours away to now 20 minutes away. So I've been over to her house a lot, and I haven't had time to pick up season 2 yet, but I will. Now, I've said before, like, Armin and Levi are my are my favorite characters, and, like, how is it I like my least favorite character interacting with my 2 favorites? And the answer is, I really, really do. Their dynamics are great. The relationship between Eren and Armin, their friendship, their goals to see, like, just want to get to the water, to see the world, to see what's out there beyond the walls, to experience freedom. They have such strong personalities, but contracting personalities, and that's why I like their dynamics just bouncing off each other. So I really like them, their friendship, and I want them to achieve their goals. And Levi, I just like his more monotone but deeply caring, but following the orders. I like him overall, and I can see liking how he's going to interact with the not so controlled, subdued emotions of Eren. So I'm definitely going to enjoy their interactions going forward. I want to see what happens next. So I apparently am going into season 2 completely blind, because I had thought I watched it. Turns out I didn't. All right, that is all I got. I will talk to you later. Hopefully I will actually be able to talk properly in the next video, because right now allergies absolutely killing me. I hope I sound somewhat legible. All right, talk to you later.